So I just saw the second Sonic movie, and yeah, it was pretty good. If you just want to know my general thoughts, it's definitely an improvement over the first movie. Fun action scenes, a lot of cute references and fan service. Gets a thumbs up from me. I will be going into spoilers, so if you are even remotely interested in checking this out, I would say go for it. I don't really have any hot takes that are worth spoiling the movie over, so unless you just really don't care about that sort of thing, I'd say go watch the movie first if you haven't. Come on, just watch the movie first, you dingus. This video will still be here. I personally was just so happy to see Knuckles get some time to shine. I love Knuckles. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is still my favorite Sonic game, and this movie obviously took a lot of elements from it, like the whole Master Emerald, Robotnik Knuckles betrayal. Like, it's obviously the closest we're ever gonna get to a Sonic 3 and Knuckles movie. Seriously, how long has it been since Knuckles felt even remotely relevant? In Forces, he's just in a few cutscenes where he's mostly portrayed as a useless fuck-up. In Lost World, he's literally just shoehorned in the beginning and ending cutscenes for like no reason. In Generations, he doesn't even get a classic version like Tails, he totally got shafted. In Colors, he doesn't even appear, not counting the DS version. In Unleashed, he didn't appear. Sonic 06 was the last mainline entry he was actually playable, and that was half the length of the entire series ago. And even then, he doesn't really feel like he gets that much focus in 06. He's basically just a little buddy character with a couple short playable segments. Doesn't really do anything in the story besides tag along. Honestly, the adventure games and Heroes are the last time it really felt like Knuckles mattered at all. So yeah, it was just great to see him treated like an actual, real character worth taking seriously. Idris Elba did a great job portraying him, and apparently enjoyed the role so much he's willing to reprise it in a Knuckles TV series, so that should be fun too. Oh yeah, and Tails was also in this movie. Not gonna lie, Tails got a little bit overshadowed by how great Knuckles was, which is fine. I mean, it's clear this movie had more of a Knuckles focus. It's even called Sonic vs. Knuckles in Japan, which is pretty cool, although the movie isn't released over there until August 19th. Poor Japan, they're only the country that created Sonic. Anyways, as far as Tails goes, he was fine. The worst I can say about him is sometimes it felt like he mainly existed in the movie to help Sonic develop as a character and to spout off exposition, but I just like Tails a lot, you know, I wanted him to have a little more time to shine. The movie had tons of great little references, like the Sonic Adventure 1 pose, the mohawk hair, the classic Eggman outfit. Maybe someday I'll do a video pointing out every single little reference, but it's kinda hard when all I can show you right now is the trailer footage. But it was more than just, oh wow, look, I recognize the thing. Like, it wasn't just that I recognized Labyrinth Zone, I was actually impressed at how well realized it was in the movie as a cool location and set piece. And the same goes for Knuckles. It wasn't just that he appeared at all, I was actually impressed as to how they handled his character. The major action set pieces in this movie were pretty good. Siberia, Labyrinth Zone, and the finale were all really solid. And I enjoyed the use of water in the movie. Like, as soon as they set up the whole I can't swim thing in the rowboat at the beginning, I was like, oh boy, here we go. And yeah, they got a lot of good use out of it. The scene where he's running across the ocean was great. The whole Labyrinth Zone sequence was fantastic. Everything about the environmental design of the location, to all the little references they squeezed in, like the slides and the air bubble. That was probably the peak of the movie for me. Although I thought the final action sequence during the climax was great too. So much better than the bare bones finale of the first one. The Death Egg robot and powered up Robotnik were suitably climactic and fun. You know me, I'm not the biggest Heroes fan, but seeing the main trio team up and working together like that really did it for me. That was great stuff. And I thought the supersonic stuff was tastefully done. Him stopping the giant fist was a cool moment. Alright, now for some complaints and nitpicks. After the first confrontation with Robotnik, Sonic and Tails just ditched the dog. Like, excuse me? The house is destroyed, he's gonna get out, what are you doing? Who's gonna take care of that dog? And why didn't Robotnik kidnap the dog? Like, what are you doing, man? He left a free hostage on the table. He even threatened the dog beforehand, but didn't follow up on it. A poor display from both the heroes and villains here neglecting the dog. That might sound like a weird nitpick, but don't blame me, it was the movie's decision to feature him so heavily in the scenes leading up to this one. What can I say? I like dogs, I just want to see responsible dog ownership in movies. No joke, my biggest pet peeve with this whole movie is the scene where Tails mentions everyone in his village used to make fun of him for being a freak because of his two tails, and rightfully so. I really would have appreciated a flashback, you know, like a bunch of Fox people making fun of baby Tails and him like crying and shit. We were literally denied a scene of Tails getting trolled, and I'll never forgive them. We were so close. I mean, we still have no idea what Tails' planet or village looks like, or even if they actually are other Fox people or what. Also, again, the humor in this movie didn't really do it, for me personally at least. Of course, there were some funny bits, like a lot of the Knuckles stuff was great, but sometimes I just needed to fucking cool it with the references. Like I explained in my thoughts on the first movie, I get that they actually established why Sonic is such a little reference gremlin. It actually makes sense within the context of the story, which is cute. But when Sonic and Robotnik are like both just constantly making pop culture references, it got a little tiring. Like, oh, did someone order an Uber? Oh great, it's a Winter Soldier. Like, shut the fuck up, Jesus Christ. That said, funny enough, the Olive Garden jokes in this one actually kind of worked for me. The fact that Gun Commander guy's like one personality trait is that he loves Olive Garden is just so stupid that, I don't know, it somehow works for me. That said, obviously I'm going to have to echo every other Sonic 2 review, which is that the whole wedding subplot in the middle of the film goes on for way too long. Like, I actually thought it wasn't that bad and even a kind of organic way to introduce Gun, but then it just kept going. Like, it really overstays its welcome. It needed to be trimmed down like 5, maybe 10 minutes. Like, I understand they needed to feature the human characters to some capacity. It would have been weird if they just were like gone from the entire movie after being such an important part of the first one. But damn. Whenever Sonic's not on screen, all the other characters need to be saying, "Where's Sonic?" Agent Stone was great, and I actually thought he might have been a little underutilized. Maybe he was actually the perfect amount or something, because it left me wanting more, but I don't know. I could have used a few more scenes with Stone. It just felt like they went out of their way to set him up, but then they kind of ditched him for most of the movie. And I mean, I get it, because they needed to focus on the whole Robotnik-Knuckles dynamic, but still. Can't believe I'm actually advocating for more of a non-Robotnik human character, but here we are. I really like the way they handled his little story in the prequel comic, too. I was a little sad there's not more game music in the movie, but it is what it is, I guess. I'm sure it's due to legal reasons and bullshit, like, in a perfect world we could have gotten a little Ice Cat music in Siberia, or just like a little motif or something, but obviously that soundtrack in particular is iffy because of MJ's involvement, so, you know, I'll cut him a little slack. The paper map containing like an R2-D2 hologram of Longclaw was a little weird, but you know, whatever, she's dead. I guess that's the only way to get some exposition from her, so I actually appreciated them fleshing out the whole owl versus echidna tribe stuff they kind of set up in the first one. Like that little animated sequence was actually really well done, and even though it was incredibly brief, I really liked seeing little Knuckles in the flashback. Uh-oh, did someone say Knuckles' dad? Quick, stop Ken Penders before he sues! Oh no! The Chaos Emeralds just like being in the Master Emerald is a little weird, but you know what? Okay, sure, fuck it, why not? Just sort of streamlines the whole thing in the context of this movie, so it's fine. Knuckles like smooshing the Master Emerald back together at the end was a little weird. Like, sure, of course they established he can do that in the adventure games, but I don't know, I just didn't expect him to do that. Also, did he put the Chaos Emeralds back in there? Like, I didn't see them. I kind of just thought they were gonna like fly off like the Dragon Balls or something. Honestly, I was kind of expecting this movie to just sidestep the Chaos Emeralds entirely and have the Master Emerald be like the sole MacGuffin, but I guess if there are no Chaos Emeralds, then what exactly is it the master of? Oh, the credits in this movie were fantastic. Like, the sprite work was just phenomenal. Some of it was used in this music video, so you can see what I'm talking about. It's really great stuff. Like, no offense to the team who did the credits on the first movie, but this one is so much fucking better. It is unreal. So kudos to the team behind it. I mentioned this on Twitter, but it's almost cursed seeing such a good pixel art Sonic with blue arms. It's like looking into an alternate timeline or something. Also, I think the Supersonic pixel art in the credits is like based off the cut Supersonic sprite from Chaotix. If so, that's a pretty sick deep cut. Again, maybe at some point in the future I'll go through the movie with a fine-tooth comb pointing out every little potential reference if people want that. As for the post-credits scene, I mean, it was kind of obvious it was coming as soon as they mentioned Gun, but it still put a huge smile on my face. And I'm very curious to see how they'll handle it. I anticipate many changes to Shadow's backstory. Don't expect it to be a one-to-one recreation of Sonic Adventure 2's plot. Also, they better get that music shit sorted out, because I can't even imagine the climax of the next movie without Live and Learn. Also, it's a little sad it seems like we're skipping over Metal Sonic. Like, I mean, it's always possible he could show up, but I wouldn't count on it. But at the same time, it's fine. I mean, we all know they can never measure up to the OVA anyway, so frankly, it's better for them to cover new material. I'm gonna have to check out the official novelization too. Apparently there's some interesting stuff in there, like a reference to Mobius. Was this something that was just in an earlier script that they had to cut because of Sega mandates, or was Paramount like, now that sounds too similar to Morbius, we better take it out? So yeah, I genuinely like this movie, but frankly I have such severe Sonic brain rot that it's hard for me to even step outside of myself and try to imagine what this would be like if you didn't care about Sonic at all. Frankly, if you're not into Sonic, I mean, I could understand just not being that into this movie. And I mean, that's totally fine. Like, I've seen some Sonic fans get extremely defensive of this movie. Just chill out a little bit, guys. It was a good Sonic movie, but a Sonic movie is just not gonna be everyone's cup of tea. But hey, general audiences seem to like it, I guess, so I'm just glad we have something to indoctrinate an entire new generation of kids into being Sonic fans. Anyways, this was just sort of a looser, general impressions type video. Maybe I'll do a more thorough breakdown at some point in the future, once I've finished mentally digesting and ruminating on this film. For now, let's just say I'm much more optimistic for the future of the Sonic cinematic universe than I was after the first one.